Welcome once again to the No Sell Wrestling podcast. I think this is episode 15, but we'll have to keep track. But yes, it is the first week of June, and we're coming off last weekend. About to say pay-per-view then, going to get in trouble. PLE, Clash in Italy. I'm joined today just by Alan, just me and Alan. Com, unfortunately, is busy. He's doing 2 or 3 other streams later on, so he can't join us, unfortunately, and Rebel's also at work. So it's just me and Alan. We're going to be covering, the plan is to cover the Raw and SmackDown, although as we've said before, don't expect that much on SmackDown because it's hard enough to get through Raw, guys, let alone SmackDown. I mean, SmackDown's even worse than Raw, if you can believe that. Even less happens of relevance on SmackDown than it does on Raw.
Yeah, it's very true.
And we'll try to cover that, and also we'll cover, obviously, we'll try to review the PLE over the weekend. And another topic that we'll do is you can see where this is kind of why I've chosen this topic. If you were watching Clash in Italy, you're going to know why I selected this. Finishers in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Have they ever meaned as little as they do as of last weekend? Because I think someone was at the point where I think you can barely even call them finishers. So me and Alan are going to discuss that. I think I've got quite a lot to say on it anyway. And if there's time later on, if there's people in the chat and they want to ask us a couple of questions, maybe me and Alan will open up the floor for a couple of questions if people want to ask us anything. But yes, Alan, so let's start in chronological order. Did you care to watch any of SmackDown? Obviously,
No.
This was obviously a day or so before the pay-per-view.
No, I was too busy playing Bond last week. Sorry, SmackDown, but Bond was far more interesting than SmackDown was.
Right, so nothing at all to say about.
I don't know. I have no idea what happened on SmackDown at all.
Not a lot. A lot of it was to do with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I think what's her name? Jade Cargill took out Alexa Bliss. So Alexa Bliss has become the fodder now for Charlotte Flair. I was hoping that they wouldn't start going down this route where she becomes the little buddy who gets beaten up just for Charlotte Flair. And I think I understand what they're doing with Charlotte and Alexa now, and I don't approve of it. But Alexa Bliss has been used to try to get Charlotte Flair cheered because Charlotte Flair is incapable of getting cheered by herself, which we've shown that she is. And so they needed to put her with somebody else who was generally quite popular, especially amongst girls. So she's literally been siphoning Alexa Bliss's heat, and Alexa Bliss's career has suffered for it. And now Alexa Bliss is now being used as the fall girl to get beaten up just to enrich Charlotte Flair, because now Charlotte Flair is going to be going into a feud with Jade Cargill, and most likely it'll be Charlotte probably getting against Rhea Ripley. Who wants to see that again? Not me.
Nope.
But it looks that's the direction it looks like they're going to be going in. And yeah, so. Anything else that happened on SmackDown? The Cody Rhodes Gunter feud continued. This feud seems almost just, again, it's hot. It's a hot shot. It's all been hot shotted because obviously the plan, Alan, was that Orton and Rhodes were going to continue feuding, and unfortunately, Orton got himself injured. Hence why the WrestleMania match was the weird match that it was, because Orton couldn't do that much.
No,
it was Cody on offense, and we haven't seen Randy Orton since. So obviously the Orton Cody program was meant to continue after WrestleMania, and it hasn't. And so they've kind of hot-shotted Gunter over. It's not gelling for me, Alan. That's pretty much the only things I can think of note that happened on SmackDown. There was more Danhausen crap, and I do call it crap because that, for me, I'm already at my limit with that now. So that didn't take long.
It's taken a couple of months.
I knew it would wear thin. No, it's WWE's fault because they don't know when to stop. They have no restraint.
Yeah, it's true. When they get a new toy, they just throw it in your face, and think, yeah, this is great. Everyone loves this. We just keep on doing it, same formula every single week. Here we go. Fire some t-shirts out. Do this. You're cursed. Yeah, bring them out. Yeah. Do this.
Yeah, they've always. This isn't a new thing. Under Vince, it was the same, and even under TKO, Triple H, whoever you think is actually making the creative decisions, which we're not really sure of.
AI, I guess. ChatGPT.
ChatGPT has got no restraint. Yeah. So So Alan. Okay. So like I said, there wasn't that much to SmackDown. Probably we should cover the, like I said, we'll do it in a proper order. So we probably should cover the PLE next before we go to Raw. So we both watched it. For us over here in the UK, it was.
Well, what's most of it?
Yeah, it was a more fan favorite time of day. We're not used over here to watching pay-per-views at 6 or 7 p.m. Unlike most people in America, we have to watch it. We have to stay up till 2 or 3 a.m. Sometimes late in the old days, the older days when these pay-per-views were 5 hours long. Sometimes me and Alan were staying up till 5 a.m. watching these things.
It's very true. Yeah, that's right.
So it was refreshing, Alan, to have an earlier pay-per-view. So initial thoughts, and we can go over the matches. But what's your initial thoughts?
I thought the card was overly weak. It was a botch fest. I don't know whose fault it was. There was a lot of production issues, and it's a B pay-per-view, PLE, whatever. Screw it. I'm calling it a pay-per-view. I don't fucking care. It's a pay-per-view. It's a B pay-per-view. That's all it is. No one cared. They thought, oh yeah, we're in a new place. We're in Italy. Yeah, here we go. We just do the normal stuff. I'm surprised they didn't bring JOC out to do some yeeting. I was actually also very surprised we didn't get Danhausen out to fire out some t-shirts.
He wasn't there, was he, for once?
He was backstage. They had him in a backstage segment while they were promoting Scary Movie 6, which was the sponsor for the show.
Telling me they showed that 1,000 times, mate.
Yeah. But no, it wasn't a great event, to be honest. It wasn't a great event at all. But that's what I come to expect with these clashing castle or whatever.
The card looked like it was going to be better on paper. It looked like they'd put more thought into it than they did Backlash. But again, that's just on paper. I thought okay, well, at least there's a bit more stuff of relevance happening. They're not wasting because obviously we only ever get 5 matches anymore. So at least they're not wasting one of the matches on the Danhausen stuff. So it's like, okay, so at least all 5 matches have some semblance of story to different levels, and how much of an interest I have in them, that's different. But at least they've put a little bit of time into the stories, despite the storytelling being dog shit and backwards more often than not. How do you feel, Alan? I'm going to throw this out there.
Okay.
In case people were ever wondering who the WWE view, not what me and Alan think, as their biggest baby face, should tell you should never need to ask that again, because you've currently got, as your 2 world champions, you have Cody Rhodes, who's got the Universal title, the title which was deemed so much more important over the last 5 to 10 years, right?
Yeah, so the Undisputed Championship.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is obviously the title Roman Reigns had, and then this is the title which the other world title is a title that they had to literally come up with, and that's the storyline, because Roman Reigns didn't want to appear on that show when Roman Reigns was a heel all those years ago. So the world title was developed because Roman Reigns didn't want to go on the other, was on the other show.
Even Punk brought it up.
Yeah. So just in case you're wondering, now that the Golden Boy Roman Reigns, everyone OTC apparently, most people's, not mine, is a babyface world champion. Look who's opening the show. The other world champion, the undisputed champion, Cody Rhodes, the man who ended Roman Reigns' 4-year title reign 2 or 3 years ago at WrestleMania. So in case people are wondering who's still the big dog, who still the big dog is. So it's depressing to me, because even though Vinnie Mac's is long gone, his boy still remains dominating as normal. So in case people were ever wondering who WWE views as their big baby face, I'm sorry to tell you, Cody, it ain't you.
No, it's not.
So Cody Rhodes opens the show against Gunther. The second time they've fought, so this is the second match they've had. They fought a couple of years ago at Crown Jewel, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And I think that they're both 2 very talented wrestlers. I think with the right story and the right build, I think this probably could have been held at a much bigger venue, in a much more prevalent position, probably as a main event of a show.
Yep.
A bigger show than a Clash in Italy. But again, just like me and Alan said about the Rollins and Gunter match at WrestleMania. That's 2 matches Gunter's had against guys that should have been so much more important than they've been. If Seth Rollins ended up being a throwaway mid-card match at WrestleMania that nobody will remember. People have already forgotten. It was nothing. Nobody. The only thing I remember is that Braun Breaker botched a spear after running for ages down the aisle. That's all I remember about that.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
And then Gunter's gone from there facing Cody Rhodes, which should be a big deal. Cody Rhodes is meant to be the undisputed champion. And it's an opening match. It goes 11 minutes. And Cody just hits a crossroads and then pins him. Now, Gunter's feet is outside of the ring, right? But number one, the camera angle does not do a good job of it.
Nope.
The commentators do not do a good job of selling it. They should be mentioning the foot under the ring as the count's happening. They more or less don't until after the count. So it's flat. The whole thing is flat because it's just like the initial thing is, oh.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying about the production values, because when Cody Rhodes hit that crossroads at the end, it should have switched to the hard cam.
Should have showed the foot under the ropes, yeah.
Yeah, it should have, because that way you would have seen his foot under the ropes.
Yeah.
But the angle we got was like, it just looked awkward. Like, it's almost like Gunter forgot to kick out or something.
I think Gunter might have made a bit of a mistake, which is rare for Gunter. He's a very good professional wrestler, but I think maybe he put his foot kind of under the ring, didn't he? And then he tries again to kind of put his foot on the rope. So maybe he was maybe he was further away than he realized, and he had to kind of adjust on the fly. So maybe that played a bit, but it looked a bit of a botched finish. And then of course Gunter complains to the ref. Cody celebrates like he didn't know, and that's it. That's all. That's pretty much all you get. I think there's a segment later on maybe where Gunter complains to somebody, or maybe that happened after the show. But that's your undisputed title match. A 10-minute throwaway match that could have been on any show, could have just been on a Smackdown, a weekly show. It was so. We spoke about the big match, how it's difficult to have big match feelings anymore. The last one was Reigns versus Punk, which I did feel had that. And you go from something like that, and then you go from Cody Rhodes versus Gunter, which could easily be. Gunter's been positioned. He retired Cena. He retired Goldberg. He retired Cena. He retired AJ Styles. He should really be, if not the biggest heel, then certainly in the top 2 or 3 biggest heels, fighting against their, as we know now, number 2 babyface. Sorry, Cody. Number 2 babyface in their eyes. This should be a massive, massive deal. This should be main event in a big pay-per-view. This could have been a SummerSlam main event, or at least a Money in the Bank or a Survivor Series main event for the belt. Is thrown away on a nothing show and a terrible finish that doesn't have much heat at all. Obviously, they're going to wrestle again. Of course, that's why the finish was the finish. So obviously, there's going to be another match. But it just seems so lazy, Alan.
It does. I mean, what's the next pay-per-view? Is it Night of Champions or something?
It's the one in Saudi, isn't it? It's King of the Ring. Queen of the Ring, where it is.
Oh, okay. Great. Can't wait. Maybe they'll fight there.
So that was the opening match. I thought it was a big ball of nothing. I felt like I was watching an episode of Raw, like I said. It did not feel special or important in the slightest. And the storyline has been virtually non-existent as well. I just think it goes to show you that when it comes to long-term planning, these guys haven't got any long-term plans. And again, back in the day, as much as I want to criticize Vince, and rightfully so, for lots of things he did, he, at least in his prime anyway, knew how to have long-term booking. The Mega Power was a perfect example of that storyline was nearly 2.5 years. That storyline was nearly 2.5 years. The Mega Power storyline with Savage and Hogan. They got together in like October '87, and then they broke up about 1.5 years later, and then still feuded for the next six months to a year, pretty much until Hogan started feuding with Kurt Hennig, pretty much. And Zeus obviously was a part of the feud, but it was Zeus and Savage, if you remember, versus Hogan and Beefcake. So in some form, Hogan and Savage were feuding for 2 years, or were involved in this storyline for 2 years. So, this is the stuff, at least for me, Alan, that I compare. So when people say maybe I'm too harsh or I expect it, no, because I've seen some of these storylines. When they feed me this kind of stuff, this kind of slop, which is what it is, it's slop.
Pretty
When
much.
they feed me this slop, how am I meant to get invested in it? It's like no, I've seen some of the best storylines in pro wrestling, and this ain't it.
And not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. I mean, they got a massive roster on, on Smackdown and Raw, even NXT. They got huge rosters. Yeah, they don't use half of them. Some of them are just stuck behind the scenes doing commercials or comedy skits.
There's just no planning.
No planning at all. You got plenty of guys back there who could easily fill a top slot on the card. But no, instead you just want to have them, advertising Snickers or in Slim Jims. Or whatever movie's out next week.
They put more effort into their sponsorship than they do the wrestling, but we already kind of know that. So up next, I think it's Rhea Ripley, isn't it?
Rhea Ripley versus green as goose shit. That bitch, Jade Cargill.
So, okay, so this is a rematch from WrestleMania, the first of two on this show. So the storyline going into this was, again, a lot of it was to do with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Obviously, Charlotte Flair came out. Alexa Bliss didn't because she's selling the injury because Jade Cargill took her out. So now Charlotte Flair wants to get that bitch. And that's obviously played into the finish because you had Jade Cargill's, I don't know what they're called, the B-Fab and then Mitchin, is it?
Yeah, B-Crap and Bitchin, yeah.
Yeah, and they're called something, and this is how much I care.
Baddies, isn't it?
Is that what it is?
I think they're called, yeah, that's what Jade had in AEW. She had her baddies.
Well, that says a lot. They are bad. So this match, it was okay, I suppose. Like it's not the worst match I've ever seen. Jade Cargill doesn't particularly have good matches. Some people are saying this was her best match. Maybe it was. That doesn't make it a good match. That just means that that's her ceiling. Rhea Ripley, we've seen, can have very good matches against the right opponent. At least it looks like on the surface, Alan, this is the end of the Jade Cargill world title experiment, at least for the forthcoming future.
I hope so.
She's lost, obviously, now. She's lost the rematch, so hopefully she won't be getting another title shot. It looks like she's going into a feud with Charlotte Flair. Oh, joy. I would expect Charlotte Flair most likely to win that, and then Charlotte Flair to face Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam would be my initial way I think they're going to go. I don't really want to see that match again, but I think that's the route they're going to go. Yeah. Any thoughts, Alan? Like I say, it's not the worst match I've ever seen, but Jade Cargill's in a match, so the ceiling's pretty low.
Yeah, I mean, she wrestled a decent match for her.
Yeah,
there wasn't any botches in the match, really. So she did relatively well. I mean, it was better than her WrestleMania match anyway. Although the ending to the WrestleMania match was really good. I did enjoy that.
Yeah, the Riptide. Yeah, how she got in Riptide was good.
Yeah, that was the transition into the Riptide was really good at WrestleMania. But yeah, we had B Crap and Bitchin put Jade's foot on the ropes after the Riptide, and the referee obviously sees it, checks them both.
Yeah.
Jade hits Jaded on Rhea, and then Charlotte does exactly the same thing, puts Rhea's foot on the rope. And what happens then? I think doesn't Jade just turn around? She gets headbutted, and then she gets Riptide, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just a transition. Jade Cargill to feuding with Charlotte.
Yeah, and when I was looking at Jade getting pinned, I just thought of Bertha Faye. I thought she was going to roll out and smile or something.
Yes, she should have. I think Bertha Faye's a better worker than Jade Cargill. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, Rhea Ripley, I quite like her for what she does. I don't know who there really is for her on SmackDown. Like I say, it's obvious they're going to do the Charlotte match again with Rhea Ripley. Probably both of them as baby faces because they seem determined to want Charlotte to be this.
Yeah, there's no heels on SmackDown. Jade and her baddies. That's it.
Got Nia Jax, Alan. Don't forget about Nia Jax.
Oh gosh, yeah, no, Jackson,
Yeah.
Lash roll up legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there you
up next, I'm going to have a bit more of a say on this when we get to our final
god, yeah.
So I'll keep this part short because I want to go into a larger rant about finishes. And this is match, if you couldn't guess, guys, it shouldn't be surprising considering the way this match went, that this is why the topic of finishes I felt needs to be addressed a little bit. They didn't have to actually have this match. It seemed like it's been a kind of a pivot. They love that word because Brock's just kind of came back. He just kind of came back after a couple of weeks.
Yeah, magically returns.
Magically returns. In his promo says that he's retired still. Okay. I mean, do people understand what retired means? So that's weird. I don't know. I don't actually understand.
Sorry, the flash of Deadpool then. When he faces, when he talks to Blade, he goes, "Yeah, sorry, but I thought you were retired." He goes, "Retarded." No, retired.
That would have made more sense.
Yeah.
So Brock Lesnar obviously attacks over Femi, and before the WrestleMania match, me and Alan, out of the four of us, when we did our preview, I think it was me and Alan mainly who wanted Over to lose. I think we wanted Brock to beat him.
Yeah.
So we got our wish, but I never expected them to do what they did because I don't know, mate. Again, Alan, maybe this is an age thing, but for me, we spoke on Backlash. Me and Alan talked about Trick Williams no selling a DDT on the steel steps.
Oh god, yeah. And little Yachty getting the haluva kick in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And then just getting up 30 seconds later. And he's not even a wrestler, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, and there is an issue. And if you wanted more proof, this match is a great exhibit. There is an issue. There is a massive issue. There's two issues. Finishes not being finishes, which is what we'll get to later. But I think it goes more than that. There is this, and maybe this is something that's been there for a while, but maybe it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. That maybe people, well, not everyone. There's a lot of people who don't even care, and that's fine. But at least for myself, and I'll only speak for myself, the selling in this company, or the no sell, which is the name of our podcast, the no sell. That's exactly what Obafemi did in this match. Now, I'm not actually blaming the kid because he's a kid. That he followed instructions. I don't know whose instruction it was. If it was Levesque, if it was Jamie Noble, or whoever it is, whatever producer. Yeah, it might have been Brock. It could have been Brock.
Yeah,
Brock's got loads of control over the stuff he does. It could have been Brock's idea for all I know. Right? I don't care whose idea it is. Right? But I'm actually not blaming him because I don't think for a second it was his decision. He goes out there and he does what he's told because he's new in the business and he's going to do. He's new in the business. He's really green, which of course he is. He's going to do whatever they tell him to do. And if they say to him, "You kick out of 6 F5s," and then after after one of the F5s is through a table on the outside, you're going to just spring up at the count of 8 and be fresh as a daisy. That's not the kid's fault, but whoever told him to do that, whoever it is, they have lost their minds when it comes to the damage, the systematic damage they are doing to the whole wrestling product. Because how are people meant to buy into it? How are we meant to buy into things when they do stuff like this? How am I meant to take the F5? How am I meant to take the F5 seriously ever again?
Oh, exactly. It doesn't finish anybody anymore.
And Obafemi's so amazing that he kicks out of all them. You want to know what? I'm going to say this right now. I thought about this last night. 2002, Brock Lesnar's debut year. In case anyone wants a history lesson, a lot of you people who might be watching may be too young to remember this. Well, I'm not. And Alan will remember this as well once I say it to him. 2002,
Brock Lesnar's debut year. Debuts right after WrestleMania. Goes on a tear. Wins the King of the Ring. Beats Rob Van Dam in the final. How many F5s did he take?
One.
Just one. Right then. Do you know what happens next? He faces The Rock in The Rock's prime at SummerSlam 2002. They have a match for the world title. It is the main event. Do you want to know how many F5s are in that match? One. And what happens? The Rock gets pinned with one F5 in The Rock's prime. Not washed up Rock, not Rock 45 years old who's on his way out. He did leave, but Rock is still in his prime. Rock went to Hollywood, yeah, he did. Not long after this match. But don't think like Rock was washed up or anything like that. No. In his prime, one F5. One. And then I have to fast forward. And then I have to sit and watch him F5 Roman Reigns 5 times. Reigns kicks out, and I thought to myself, that's ridiculous. And even though I wasn't a Roman Reigns fan before that, I could never be because of stuff like that. So they've destroyed Obafemi for me already because I don't believe it. And once you destroy my disbelief, I'm out. So I cannot believe, and I do not believe that Obafemi can take 6 times the damage of The Rock.
No way.
This is what you're asking me to believe.
I mean, the E's kind of lost their minds now. They really have. I mean, everything is a finisher fest now. Everything is a finisher fest. You know, they rarely transition to anything. It's like, oh, I hit you with my finisher, then I hit you with mine. I hit you with mine. You hit me with yours. You hit me with mine. I hit you with yours. And that's how they play the matches now. Ever since Brock came back in 2015, 2016, or maybe even 2014. No, it's before. No, it was 2013. Obviously, yeah, because Punk was still around, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was Punk.
So it would have been 2013.
How many F5 did Punk kick out of, Alan?
None.
Do you see the difference in storytelling?
Yep. There you go, Samoa Joe, another one to face Brock Lesnar at that awesome event, Great Balls of Fire.
Yep.
One F5.
Yep. You see, this is the difference between people who can actually tell stories and when the WWE. And like I say, I'm not even blaming the kid. It's not the kid's fault. I'm not blaming the wrestler. He's too young. He hasn't got any power to say no, right? He ain't going to say no. So he's going to do whatever they tell him to do. So I'm not angry at the kid. It's not him. But that's Brock's probably on his way out. So maybe Brock doesn't give a shit because he's like, well, I'm going to be gone after SummerSlam. I am going to retire. Maybe not as I am going to retire after SummerSlam. That was always probably going to be the plan, most likely, right? This is his last proper feud. So maybe he thinks to himself, it doesn't matter if somebody kicks out of my finisher 7 times. I mean, in their next match, and there's going to be a third. Is he going to take 10? Is he going to kick? I'm being serious.
Yeah, probably. I won't be surprised.
Is this what it's going to be? Is Lesnar going to hit over Fed? Because he's got to, right? Because if you keep upping it, you keep upping the ante. So he's got to. So Lesnar's going to hit 10. I think Lesnar will hit between 8 and 10 F5s in their last match, and Femi will kick out because Femi won't lose again to him. The story is that Femi has to win the last match, and he will. He will kick out of Alan. I bet you he kicks out of 8 F5s in their last match. I bet you he does. He has to. This is. He actually has to. Now. It's absurd, guys. I'm sorry. I know if you're younger fans watching this, you might not give a shit, and that's fine. All right. I'm sorry. I grew up in wrestling where a finisher was a finisher. That doesn't mean nobody ever kicked out. I never said that nobody ever kicks out. But it was a rare occurrence. It was a rare occurrence saved for 2 colossal main eventers, Steve Austin and The Rock, guys like that. It was saved for significantly special occasions.
Yeah, that's right.
Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, regarded as maybe the best WrestleMania of all time, right? I think it's WrestleMania 26 or 25. I think it's 26.
Yes, but it's 26. Yeah.
Their first match, right? The second one not quite as good. Their first match, right? Relive the memory, and I will remember this. Undertaker hits the tombstone on Shawn Michaels. At this point, other than perhaps Kane, nobody particularly kicks out of the tombstone. Kane, I can think maybe Kane did years ago.
Yeah, you have WrestleMania 14.
Right.
After Kane tombstones Pete Rose, which was hilarious, but yeah.
A very protected finisher. The only other time I think somebody even reacted that way might have been Hulk Hogan at the Gravest Challenge in '91. He doesn't go for the cover, but he tombstones Hogan and Hogan hulks up. Stupid, very stupid actually. That's one of the reasons why I had a problem with Hogan, because I thought that was unrealistic. I thought that was stupid as well, in my opinion. But it was Hulk Hogan's act, and it worked for him. Right? Kids loved him. Younger fans certainly loved it. So when he tombstones Shawn Michaels in that match, 1-2, and it's just about a kick out, and then the Undertaker pulls a reaction on his face that you can't believe it. It's etched in my mind probably for a long time, because that's what made that match so special. Stuff like that. So these kickouts are used for dramatic effect. But in order for them to be dramatic, it comes down to this less is more stuff. You can't do it again and again and again and again and again. It loses its impact. So I'm sorry, Alan. I'm repeating myself. They've lost their minds.
Yeah, they have.
They've absolutely lost. They've destroyed it. For me, they are destroying. Kickouts I don't expect a finisher to win a match anymore. They've taught me. They've taught me that I don't expect a finisher to finish a match anymore. I expect a kick out. It's gone backwards. When a finisher happens, you should be expecting the match to end. But now they've gone so much the other way now that when there's a finisher, I expect the person to kick out. I'm shocked if they don't kick out.
Yeah, finishers is a wear down hold now.
It's backwards, Alan, man. It's backwards. And again, if people don't agree, that's cool. I'm not saying anyone does, and if you think me and Alan are too old, okay. For the record, I'm just going to throw this in there. If you go and do the studies, there's a report done a couple of years ago about who WWE's audience is. Do you know that WWE has more fans over the age of 50 than they do under the age of 50?
Wow. Good.
Now, this reported a couple of years ago. It could be that maybe they're on Netflix. Maybe it's changed. This was a couple of years ago. This was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. They did a report, and I think it was like 54% or something of their fans are over the age of 50. So it's long-term fans, people like me and Alan, even though we're not 50, not yet, who grew up watching in its heyday during the 90s. Not quite the late 80s, at least for myself. I didn't start till the early 90s, but So if you think we're just too old, no, we're actually veteran wrestling fans who have seen a lot of the best of all times, and we see some of the pretenders, and that is the word I'm going to use, pretenders, running around today. And I have to sit and listen to these fans chant "greatest of all time" at John Cena.
Boo.
Which just a joke.
That's an insult. I actually find that to be an insult.
It is an insult. It is.
There are 100 plus wrestlers who are greater than John Cena.
At least. Anyway, sorry. That's my rant on the finishes. I was going to say it till later, but you know what? This was the match that triggered it in my head. So there you go. Right. So anything to say on the actual match, Alan? That's my rant over for the finishes. If you want to add something to the finishes, then go for it.
Well, yeah. We'll come to that. Other than it was a short match, 6 minutes. That's what I think. That's what it ran for. I remember saying in the chat. I can't remember how many F5s it was at that point, but I think I just went lol, fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off. No fucking way. I don't care who you are, Obafemi. It's a fucking F5 for God's sake. You've never been a world champ. Okay, you've been the NXT world champion, but that's it. But again, a lot of people have been NXT world champion. Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura,
Johnny
Bobby Roode.
Gargano's been the NXT World Champion,
Champion.
and
Exactly.
all he does is sit backstage in comatose. That's what he does.
Yeah,
nowadays.
lies down on his face. So, I mean, the match was pretty much what I expected. I didn't. It wasn't going to be a wrestling match. It never is. I knew Brock would go for it. I was actually surprised I didn't see the German suplexes. Actually, maybe Oba can't take a German suplex.
Maybe.
All it was just an F5 and a Kimura lock. That was Brock's offense for the whole match. But yeah, there'll be a third one. Whether they hold off, I guess they're going to hold off till SummerSlam.
Probably.
And then that'll be Brock's last match. Brock will be like, yeah, okay, fine. You win 2-1. I'm out. I'm gone. I'm done.
One thing I will say in closing about the match is I remember Rebel asking me, not that Rebel's a massive over Femi fan. I think Rebel likes him probably more than we do. But I remember kind of like, what would I have to do to get me interested in over Femi? And I said to him, he's got to show vulnerability.
Yeah,
For me, if he doesn't, he's going to end up being like Goldberg. And although Goldberg had a great 6 months, you saw how fast it fizzles out. Goldberg's first year in wrestling, he blew everyone away. Then once they needed to get him to do more than just squashing guys, because that started to get old. He could do it for so long, but once they put the belt on him and he was required to do more, once he had to do more than just squash a jobber, then the problem started. Then people started seeing his limitations. People started realizing, oh, there's not that much else to him.
Exactly. He can't have these big 20, 30-minute matches.
No, and he couldn't sell that much. He wasn't that good at selling. He didn't have that much psychology. And again, to defend Goldberg, just like Oba Femi, he was a rookie. They hot shotted Goldberg. WCW put a rocket to him right away. He didn't know any better either. This is what I mean. I'm not even attacking the kid that much. I'm not even blaming him. They've put him in this position. It's not his fault. He's going to reap the rewards. His next contract is going to be worth an awful lot of money, so he'll reap the rewards financially. But it's not actually his fault.
No.
But I said to Rebel, he's got to start showing a bit more vulnerability in order to tell proper stories. He's got to show a bit more vulnerability. But their idea of him showing vulnerability was losing a match. But in losing a match, he got up from 7 F5s. How does that make him look vulnerable?
Exactly. They're also trying to back him to be the new beast incarnate.
Well, he has to be. They've already decided that because he's kicked out of 7 F5s or 6 F5s, and it took 7 F5s to put him down. He's got to be. It's one of those self-fulfilling that like they have to now. They've got to. It's already decided they've got to because they've given him so much. They've destroyed Brock Lesnar's finisher for him. So they've got to now. So look, it is what it is. Okay, so the fourth match, Alan. Speaking of a newcomer who's probably in way over their head, Sol Ruka versus Becky Lynch. I've said before that I know you're not the biggest Becky Lynch fan.
Not really.
I myself quite like her as a heel. I do think, and the reason why I like her, and I've said this before, is that some people enjoy being heels. Some people want to be heels. They actually want to be. They want to get booed. They see the booed as their applause. And a lot of people who turn heel seem to just want to be cool heels. Becky Lynch, in my opinion, she is a proper heel. She wants to do heel things. She wants to get heel reactions. I actually think she's actually quite generous as well. What I mean by that is that I think she sells a lot for her opponent. I think she actually is quite generous. So I find that a little bit refreshing. I think she gets it. So I've got a bit of time for Becky Lynch. I don't think she's the best wrestler. I never have. I think she's okay, but she's never been a standout wrestler for me. I think she's good enough for what she's asked to do. I think her promos are good as well. Sometimes she can go a bit too far. She can get a little bit too comical. Sometimes she can go a bit too far. But for the most part, I've got time for her. But I don't know again, Alan, if I agree with just her, just them hot-shotting the title onto this Sol Ruka. He can't even hit her finisher properly. But I'm a poor kid.
Yeah. which is just a stunner, by the way.
Well, yeah.
Just a stunner. Just because you do a little flip doesn't make it any better.
No.
It's just a stunner RKO thing. Just much like Javon Evans, he just does like a springboard RKO. That's all it is. So she's easy on the eyes, but she's still green.
I think that's a little overrated as well, but we don't. She's okay. I think that's. I don't think she's all that either. But look, I think she's too green. I think she needed another year in NXT. If they wanted to bring her up to the main roster, they probably could have taken a slower approach. But it seems they've given her the belt right away. And she's going to learn to sink or swim, but I think she's going to sink because I don't think she's got all the other stuff you need. I don't think she's got the experience, which of course she can't have. She hasn't got the promo. She is not a good promo. She's not a good promo. She's okay. Her appearance is okay. Like I say, I don't think it's amazing. I think she's okay. But if that's what she's counting on, then she ain't no Liv Morgan. She ain't no Alexa Bliss. She ain't a Roxanne Perez either. This is subjective, of course, but I'm just saying that her look's not that impressive either. If that's what they're going to rely upon, there's other women who have that and are better in other ways. So I think it's a very dangerous thing they're doing with Sol Ruka. Again, it's not even her fault. Again, I'm not blaming these kids. She's doing probably what she was told to do. Somebody needs to sit down with her. Somebody like a Shawn Michaels, who should know. If anyone knows better, Shawn Michaels should know better. He's one of the best wrestlers there's ever been. He knows how to tell stories. He was a great storyteller. He should sit her down and say, "Stop doing so many bloody flips."
Oh, exactly.
Just stop doing them.
Kids like that now, don't they?
Well, yeah, it seems that way. You got Javon Evans, which is pretty much the male version of her. Pretty much, they're so kind of similar in what they bring to the table. It's two people who, obviously, both very young, both do loads of flips, both obviously very talented gymnasts, which of course they both are. I'm not taking that away from either one of them, but they both have the same issues. They can't cut promos. They've got no storytelling. They've got no psychology. And they're just being kind of thrown out there. A lot of people will say, well, how are they ever going to get the experience? And I agree, but that's one of the reasons why in the olden days, back in my day, there were these things called dark matches and house shows.
Yep, I remember them. Yep.
Where people would spend a long, long time honing their craft before being overexposed. But now you've got Sol Ruka and Javon Evans, but mainly this is mainly about Sol Ruka, but you can easily throw Javon Evans in there. It's exactly the same issue. They're overexposed. They're going to be on every show every week now. They've just put the belt on Sol Ruka, so now she's going to be defending the belt on probably pay-per-views. So they put her right in there right away. She's only been on the main roster 2 months, and she's already a champion. Granted, it's the secondary title, but still, she's already a champion. She's already beaten Becky Lynch. They've already thrown her out there to cut promos, which are terrible. And now she's being expected to do all this stuff, and she's blatantly not ready. And I just think that there was nurturing. There needs to be a bit more nurturing. But look, it is what it is. This is how they do stuff nowadays. They've gotten rid of most house shows. They've gotten rid of most dark matches. NXT is the place. NXT is meant to be where that is meant to be the dark matches. That's where they're meant to be. But I just think they're calling these guys up. I think you can throw Trick Williams in is another one. I generally don't see the appeal with Trick Williams, but even I can see that he's not ready to be in the position he's in.
True.
Personally. So, anything, Alan, about Sol Ruka and Becky Lynch?
No, not really. Again, part of me thought Becky was going to retain. In my heart, I knew Sol Ruka was going to win. And it's something that could have happened on a Raw, to be honest. I wasn't blown away with anything. I mean, she hit a Soul Snatcher okay in this event. She didn't miss it like she did on Raw. And then the fact that Netflix had to edit it to make it look like she didn't miss. So, no. Doesn't do anything for me, unfortunately. 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10, Brett. And then that leaves obviously the main event.
Now, before we get to the main event, I just want to say I never saw the end to this because my inside of my eyelids was much more interesting than this match.
You missed the kind of.
I missed the end of the match. Yeah, so I got no idea it ended. I'm guessing Roman just spears him and that's it.
It is. I think their match at Backlash was better. Personally, the fact obviously it was tribal combat. What does that mean? It just means it's just no DQ. That's all that means.
Yeah, exactly. Just no holds barred.
Now the Usos didn't get involved. I thought maybe they would, but no, the Usos didn't get involved. It did remain 1-on-1. The Usos didn't get involved. Neither did the MFTs, whatever they're called. They all appeared at the end, which is scary and worrying. But they did not interfere in the match. The match itself, look, it was a solid match. There was no particular massive botches in the match. They're both capable wrestlers. I mean, I slag off Roman for a lot of his work, rightfully so, but I don't think he's a dreadful wrestler. His timing's fine. He's obviously very athletically gifted, so he can do a lot of the athlete stuff. His moves generally look pretty good. So I don't generally, I find him a bit of a boring wrestler, but a boring wrestler and a bad wrestler are not the same things. So I don't think he's a particularly bad wrestler. I think he's a boring wrestler. But that's more about taste. So the match was okay. But nothing particularly special. It didn't feel that important. And of course, it was so obvious what was going to happen. And we'll get to Raw in a sec. And it went down exactly as we all predicted. There was no surprises.
No.
There wasn't even a virtual pinfall for Jacob. So what do I mean by that? Well, sometimes when they try to protect somebody, they will have they will have an out for the wrestler, right? So there was no kind of virtual pin. There was no part of the match where Jacob Fatu had Roman beaten and the referee was knocked out or the referee was out of position. Nothing. So there was no protection for him at all.
Just flat out losers.
Yeah, flat out losers. And that's 2 losses in a row. At least in the Backlash match, they projected Jacob a little bit because they had Reigns cheat.
Yeah, exactly. The face Roman Reigns has to cheat to beat Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. The weird thing is that's not been mentioned once in a storyline. Why is Jacob Fatu not being like, yeah, mate, you might have beat me, mate, but you had to break the rules to beat me? Why has he not said it?
Exactly.
Why has nobody? Why has the commentators not brought it up? Why has Roman Reigns didn't bring it up? The Uso, nobody has brought it up. Did they forget?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Well, in this one, because it's no DQ, there's no such thing as cheating. So there's no, that was never going to come into it. One thing that happened in the match, Alan, that they did call out, which I thought was interesting. Even more reason why the roles are they're being cast in the wrong roles. Roman Reigns gets hit with a move. I forget the move. It might have been it could have been the moonsault because Jacob hits his moonsault. And Reigns kicks out, but low blows Jacob as he kicks out. Do you remember that part, or were you asleep by then?
I must have been asleep by that point.
Okay, so it was near the end of the match. Jacob hits his moonsault. 1-2. Roman kicks out, but when he kicks out, he low blows Jacob at the same time. And the commentators saying, "Oh, did he do that on purpose?" And then I think the heel commentator said, "Well, even if he did, it's no DQ. It's So it's just like it's so kind of. So was that Reigns did it on purpose or didn't he? Because the commentators were kind of like, "Oh." So Reigns, even though it's technically legal, again, it's not exactly the most virtuous things of doing it. So he kicked out, but low blow Jacob on purpose with the kick out. Again, is this mannerisms of a valiant babyface? I don't think it is. But and the ending was Alan. He spears him through a table. Then he does his bouncing off the ropes 2 or 3 times. So his big spear. Most overused move in wrestling, by the way. Spears him.
Yeah, it is.
That and a super kick. Spears him. 1, 2, 3. Then at the end, the Usos come out, and then for some reason the MFTs are in the crowd, and I'm just thinking to myself, haven't we already done this feud?
What's the thing? This whole bloodline thing has just been done to death.
The same people, and
yeah, exactly. And how many more Samoans are we going to get? And we've already lost 2 of them with Tongaloa and JC Mateo, technically, where he's Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So they're gone. There's no one left.
No.
It's just the same old shit now. Same old shit. That's what it's going to be. It's like watching EastEnders. It really is. Another Mitchell brother, just or cousin or nephew or whatever comes out of the fucking woodwork.
Well, that was it. That was Alan, and then the show goes off the air. Nothing of real any.
There you go. Inside of my eyelids was definitely far more interesting then.
Yeah. So overall, I'd give that show. There was nothing that was offensive on it. You know, there was nothing that was offensive to my eyes. I just thought it was boring. I thought it was boring. I thought it was predictable. There was no surprises. I was sickened. The Brock Lesnar over Femi match sickened me for reasons I've just said. It's destroyed finishes for me. So because of the damage it's done to my wrestling fandom, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. Though the show itself probably might have been maybe a 4 or 5 because it was an average show. What about you?
Yeah, about 4 sounds about right. 4.
Right.
It's another B pay-per-view, which is actually more like a Z, but there we are.
Lastly, we'll talk about Raw. So the King of the Ring started, Alan, apparently.
Wow, the King of the Ring. I remember that tournament. Yeah, I remember that tournament.
No, it's not a tournament. No, it's not.
Qualifying matches. You used to get qualifying matches on Superstars and Raw when it started, and then you get like the 8-man tournament actually at the pay-per-view, and people would be injured or if they have to they'll have to work hurt or something throughout the whole tournament. Build a story for the whole thing. They've not done that in years. They've not done that in years. Now they do half a tournament, over loads of weeks, and they just do the final on the pay-per-view.
I remember vividly in 1993, which is the first one they did on pay-per-view. I remember that Bret Hart to qualify had to win a fatal 4-way. That's what I remember to get into the tournament. Don't you remember that?
No,
I'm lying. Yes.
I was going to say they didn't know what fatal 4-ways were in the early 90s.
The point Alan's making, rightly so, is that a tournament used to be a single elimination tournament. They'd have brackets, proper brackets. They wouldn't just say, "Oh, we can't be," because this is what it is, right? We can't be asked to run a proper tournament. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut it short, and we're going to have a couple of fatal 4-way matches, and then those people will just go directly into the semi-finals. So it's not really a tournament. It's what is it? It's not really. The only tournament part is going to be between 4 guys. The rest is fatal 4-way, and then the person who wins the fatal 4-way goes to the semi-finals. Amazing. It's not a tournament, then, is it? I mean,
thrilling.
What is it? It's the King of Ring. It's barely a tournament. Why? If you're gonna half Alan, they have got 6 hours. They've got 6 hours a week of TV to fill. You're telling me they can't have a proper 16-man tournament over a couple of weeks? I'm not saying they're going to do. Even if they don't want to make the whole pay-per-view, right? Even only the 93 and the 94 ones actually had, I think, the whole stuff. Then they put it down to the 2 semis, right? And I could at least accept that. At least there was some element, right?
Yeah.
At least it was a proper tournament being held in the weeks before, right? And there's still a storyline. Alan's right. The best thing is to do it should all be done in one night.
Yeah,
it should.
It builds stories because someone could be hurt in a match. Kayfabe, they could be hurt, and then they have to progress. Like Jake Roberts, remember '96 when Austin beat him, and the story was that Jake had been injured and his ribs were playing up, and he had the bandage.
That was one of them, Alan, where you only got the semis, so you only got 3 matches in that one.
Yeah,
but that's okay. At least that's. But you in the week or 2 leading up to it, you still had single elimination stuff. But they've just half-assed everything. They just can't be bothered. You got 6 hours of TV. The pay-per-view is not for another couple of weeks. You've got 6 hours of TV per week. 3 hours on Raw, 3 hours on SmackDown. You can't have a tournament?
No, apparently not. Because they can't be bothered. They actually can't be bothered. ChatGPT doesn't allow that.
Just lazy, man.
Yeah, rather than have some writers, they've basically got the guy who runs TKO sitting in his office, his feet up on the thing, probably with his pants around his ankles, looking at a picture of Vince or something.
Yeah.
And thinking, okay, ChatGPT, I want to run a tournament in my WWE company. How do I run it? It's fucking lazy.
It just seems I don't know. I don't know if it's just a sign of the times that they think maybe they think people haven't got the attention span to follow a tournament.
Well, that's true. Kids these days don't have attention span. Like, I see kids today; they just basically stand around with their phones on, just staring at them. That's what kids do now. This is why we have streaming now, because kids just want to sit there on the sofa with a phone and just look up every now and again. They don't have attention span. They can't look at something for more than half an hour.
Well, all I know is that like so much other things, it's just like tournaments now. You want me to care, then if you want me to care about things, you want me to care about your King of the Ring, right? Or the Queen. You want me to care about both of them, right? Then you need to have people earn it. And you can turn around. Oh, but Obafemi did earn it. Obafemi won a fatal 4-way. He won one match and just goes into the semi-finals. It's not even a proper tournament. It should be It's meant to be a single elimination tournament.
Yeah, because you're meant to be the King of the Ring.
Yeah,
King of the Ring means you're meant to beat your opponent. No plural. Opponent. You're the King of the Ring. Not I'm going to get lucky and pin one of the other three guys because the other two are like out for the count or they're brawling with each other. Doesn't make you a king. Just makes you fucking lucky.
Yeah, if you want to have a tournament with fatal 4-ways, then you need to have the whole tournament do it. Then. If you want to have a fatal 4-way, then okay. Then the semi-finals are all fatal 4-ways, and then the final is a fatal 4-way. If you want to do that and keep it consistent, then fine. You might want to call it something else, but at least keep it consistent. The first part is a fatal 4-way, which, as Alan's just rightly said, you can win a fatal 4-way with luck. You can do it because we see it all the time.
Yeah.
Right place, right time, and you can win those matches. In singles matches, normally the better opponent will win.
You're going to show my age now, but remember the original tournament. Remember Doink versus Mr. Perfect?
Took him 3 times. To qualify 3 times.
Yeah,
3 matches.
A great technical masterclass those two had. They had 3 great matches. Doink, this is heel Doink, by the way. Matt Bourne versus Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. They had 3 great matches, all running to I think they nearly went to the limit again, didn't they, on the 3rd match?
Yeah, I think they wrestled to 2 draws, and then the third one.
So that's half an hour already.
The 3rd one.
Yeah, and that was we were looking at about 40, 45, almost 45 minutes of actual wrestling.
And
it was
again,
a masterclass.
Alan, this is when they had less time. Do
Yeah.
you know how long Raw was back in those days? 1 hour.
Yeah, it was an hour. That's all it was. Superstars ran for about 45 minutes with commercials. And I think that's where they fought each other. They fought each other with Superstars.
Exactly.
Perfect and Doink. It was like the main event.
They've got 3 times the amount of airtime now.
Yeah, exactly. You can easily run loads of one-on-ones.
Of course they could.
But they don't want to because they're too busy filling us with, have a Snickers or have a Slim Jim. Or, is my DoorDash here?
They think a tournament's too boring. That's the truth. And it maybe again, Alan, because we're older fans, maybe that is what the young people want. But maybe so. But you know what? I'm not that sure about that. And as I've said before, there was a report that came out a couple of years back. A large number of their people who still watch wrestling are 50 and above, and who grew up on the same stuff, maybe even a bit further along than me and Alan did. So some of it might be different. Some portion of their fan base might be millennials and might have the attention span of goldfish. Maybe so. But there's also a whole bunch of kind of veteran wrestling fans who want to see stories and who want to see some of this stuff. And we don't get catered for at all.
No, of course not.
So
most of the good wrestlers get let go. They get fired by TK because we don't want horror characters in there. God forbid you put a character with a bit of, with a 3-dimensional character. No, we just want boring people.
Was there anything on Raw, Alan? Because obviously I realise it's 7 now, and we were only meant to go till 7. So going over Raw, was there anything on Raw that you liked? Was it, and anything that, because obviously it's meant to be
Well,
episodic TV storytelling. So
well, yeah,
is there any stories which are like, I'll be interested to see where maybe that goes. Is there anything for you?
Well, our favorite guy, Obafemi, he won his qualifying match.
Mm-hmm.
He pinned Solo Sikoa, so there you go. Solo Sikoa again back on the back pedal.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just he's just a jobber now because obviously Tongalo's not around. So does Obafemi go and win this now? Does he go win King of the Ring?
I think
he can't. He surely can't because the winner, the King of the Ring, generally goes to SummerSlam to be the world champion or face the world champion.
Yeah, I think Lesnar stops that from happening in some form. I don't know if Oba gets to the finals. I think he might get eliminated in the semis, but it won't be cleanly. It might not even be by pinfall. I can see Lesnar getting involved. I can see that.
Okay.
Because you're right. You're right. Because Lesnar and Obafemi have to have their third match.
Yeah.
And the obvious time is SummerSlam for that.
Yeah.
So
this will build their storyline a bit more because obviously now Brock's going to cost him the King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like the Ethan Page experiment's over as well. He got pinned. He got pinned by Rey Mysterio. See you, Ethan Page. There goes your career. After failing to win the IC title at Saturday night's main event, he's now being pinned by 54-year-old Rey Mysterio. But there we are.
Yeah, I also was a bit shocked to see him eat another pinfall. I didn't expect him to beat Penta. I thought that maybe he might lose that one. But yeah, to eat 2 back-to-back falls like that is slightly concerning. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's done something wrong, or maybe he's pissed somebody off, or maybe he's rubbed somebody up the wrong way that we don't know about. I mean, we'll see. But if he loses again next week, then
yeah. And I think they're hinting at LA Knight versus Roman Reigns.
But you know that LA Knight's going to be the heel, don't you? You can see it already.
Yeah, of course he's going to be heel, even though Roman Reigns is the biggest heel in the company. But
well, yeah,
we're not allowed to follow that line of thought, are we?
No.
So yeah, we got that to look forward to. Then we had the Queen of the Ring match: Lash Legend versus Julia versus Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez.
Well, I know you didn't like that because you don't. Io Sky won that. So
Io Sky. I just find it boring, and I just found it hilarious that Julia took another pinfall. For love, why are you there?
And she actually is half Italian, which
exactly. She's half Italian, and they just she just gets moonsaulted and pinned. I thought, okay, we'll see.
They could have pinned any of the other ladies, and it's like, oh, you're from Italy, are you?
Yeah.
Right then, we'll make sure you get pinned.
Then I was subjected to Io Sky's boring music.
I would have liked to have seen, even though I just defended Julia, I think she's okay, but she probably is not. She's not been featured enough probably to be going through this match. I would have given it to Roxanne Perez because they've hinted at something between her and Liv Morgan. So if they have Roxanne Perez win Queen of the Ring, wouldn't that make sense storyline wise? If she's going to kind of leave the Judgment Day and start stirring the pot with her and Liv, because it looks like that's a direction that they long term want to go in. So I would have thought it made more sense to have Roxanne Perez. And I actually think Roxanne Perez is being underutilized because I do actually think, not only because I fancy her, but I actually think she's somebody who actually does have most of the things you need. And she came in a year and a half ago. She got a little bit of a push at the start. She joins the Judgment Day, which I wouldn't say is getting a push. And she's done very little. She was a tag champion, I think, wasn't she? But she's done very little other than that for like the last year. So she's been spinning her wheels, learning stuff, which is okay because I've just said that that's sometimes what you need to do. You need to give somebody a year or so to kind of bed in. Or something they're not doing with Sol Ruka, something they're not doing with Javon Evans, something they're certainly not doing with Obafemi. But Roxanne Perez has been there a year or so, and it looks like they want to do something with her. So I'm surprised she didn't eat the pinfall, granted. But still, I thought that she would have been a good a good choice to win the whole thing.
Yeah, she would have been. Would have made a lot more sense. But no, they want Io Sky to do it because her music's boring and shit. She has zero personality apart from that, doing that stupid little thing.
Yeah, the head. I'm with you on the head thing.
So thank you for fuck's
I
sake.
think she does. I think she's a very good wrestler, right? Which I do
Yeah, she's a
care
good
about.
wrestler.
But there's
She's
more
good.
to it than that. But I the head thing is embarrassing. I actually am with you. She never used to do that when she was in NXT. She never used to do that.
Send her back to NXT. She should do a lot better.
Last but not, I mean, okay. So the main event, Rollins versus Breaker. It was a good match.
I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good match. Yeah, I love the ending to it. I thought the ending was, it played into Rollins, psychology, because he's that kind of, he's like Edge in a way, isn't he? He's like the new Edge. He's like the ultimate opportunist, using the title to sort of brace the impact of the spear, causing the knockout to Breaker.
What do you think, Alan, of Heyman taking a bump? Now, this Heyman is not a young chap.
No, he's not 60s, isn't he?
He's not a. Let's be honest here, and I'm not one to talk because I'm not exactly Captain Slim or in great condition myself. But he's an elderly gentleman now. Probably shouldn't be taking any bumps, but he's not exactly in particularly great shape either. So he's probably quite a fragile man with his weight and everything. So I'm surprised he took that bump, but he did. So bless him.
Well, kudos to him. He took it. I mean, he's Paul Heyman is very invested in the business.
Not very much.
Yeah. Ever since he created ECW, he's obviously worked close in hand, because obviously he was in WCW as well with the Dangerous Alliance and all that. So he's heavily invested in the business. So I'm guessing he's that kind of guy who would think, well, whatever it takes to get these guys over, to get the story forward, I'll do whatever you need me to do.
Do you think, though, Alan, that this is the end of the Vision? Because
I think it kind of needs to be, because I read a report earlier on that apparently Bronson Reed was involved in a car accident. So.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Is he re-injured himself? Is he?
Possibly. Apparently he's on his way back, because he posted something on X like a few days. I think
he was jacked, wasn't he?
He was pretty much on his way back. I think he would have been back maybe next pay-per-view, or if not SummerSlam at the latest. But he's on his way back, and now apparently he was in a car accident. So that's probably because it sidelined him a little longer. Well, sorry. But I was gonna say the Vision. I think it's done. Logan's out. Bronson's out. Paul Heyman's kayfabe out.
Did you think this was done? What I meant was, do you think this was done to write Heyman out?
It could be, because I heard whisperings that Nick Aldis was stepping aside on SmackDown, and Heyman was meant to be taking in his place.
Okay.
I read that a few months back, because it was just after Gunther spoke about favor to Paul Heyman, because you owe me a favor now.
Yeah.
And I was wondering how this is going to play into it, because Brock at the time was going after Femi at WrestleMania, and then everyone thought, okay, well, maybe, just maybe, Brock's going to move to SmackDown. He's going to be on SmackDown, because obviously Brock can turn up wherever he wants. Because and if Heyman goes to SmackDown, he'd be like, well, that favor you owe me, I want Brock at SummerSlam. That's what I was thinking was going to happen.
Yes, I thought that as well. Yeah.
So I don't know whether they're going to do that anymore, because apparently Nick Aldis wants to get back in the ring for one last hurrah.
I don't know. It's like because if they wanted to get rid of the Vision, this would be one way to do it. Because it's like, because Heyman, even though Bron Breakker obviously has been there more or less from the start, Heyman kind of is the gel that holds them together. So if they were to write Heyman out, that would let them kind of dissolve the group, because I think they must realize by now that it's been an absolute disaster with all the injuries and everything like that. And storyline wise, they've never felt less important than they are. If anything, Alan, it's damaged Bron Breakker, because Bron Breakker looked like he was going to be the world champion at the end of the year. I thought to myself, he'll win the belt at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
and now
he was facing CM Punk, wasn't he, in January?
Yeah,
he was facing CM Punk.
Exactly, and there was a lot of people who thought he was going to win the belt from Punk.
Yeah,
and of course he didn't. But then it's like, oh, okay, it was so it was more or less to kind of raise him up, and then he's going to win the Rumble, and then he'll wrestle Punk at the Rumble and win it there. Doesn't even take part in the Rumble because he gets injured. But now he is miles away from the world title, miles away.
Yeah,
he's a replacement tag champion. because he's taken over Logan Paul's role.
That's right. And the thing is, now he's been overtaken by the likes of like Obafemi. Obafemi will get a title shot before he does.
100%.
And he'll win the title before Bron Breakker will as well.
I agree. So Bron Breakker's career, I'm not saying he's been jobbed out, not at all. But you can't say that they haven't put the brakes on him, because they massively have.
Pun intended.
Well, yeah. All gas, no brakes.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Okay. Lastly, my weekly Roman Reigns bash. Look, quickly. They start the show off. It's the big storyline. Jacob Fatu ends up doing exactly what me and Rebel and Tequila Alan said a couple of weeks ago that we were hoping was not going to be the end game. The last thing we wanted to see was him to just lose and then come out on Raw and just acknowledge him. And that's exactly what they did.
So what has been achieved?
Nothing. Jacob Fatu comes across like a little bitch. He couldn't get the job done twice. He couldn't get the job done. And he's the only thing I'll say is that he's more of a babyface because he kept his word. Again.
Yeah. After all the things he's done, feuding with Cody Rhodes, and then coming to Raw, and facing Roman Reigns, going through all that tribal combat stuff, all the brawls they had, in their promo segments on Raw, and it just culminates in him just bending the knee and taking the hand of Roman Reigns and saying, "I acknowledge you." Was that the point? Was that that's what we're getting?
I don't know what the point. If the point was meant to elevate Jacob Fatu, if that was the point of this storyline, is to turn Jacob Fatu into a main event guy, I can't see how they have done anything. If anything, they've damaged him. I'm not saying that he's a complete jobber now. I never said that. But he's his position, don't you? This storyline has told you his position. He's not as good. You know that he's not as good as Roman Reigns. You know that he can't get the job done. He's not as good as Roman Reigns. No. You've been told and you've been shown that now. So there you go. So he's going to be the henchman now. So he's going to be the Solo Sikoa. So he'll now be the henchman, and maybe 6 months down the line, maybe a year down the line, maybe he'll start to get fed up with Roman Reigns, even though he should already be fed up with Roman Reigns now. But let's say he keeps his word, right? Because he said he's going to keep his word. So he keeps his word and he does Roman Reigns' bidding. Babyface Roman Reigns, by the way, doing his bidding. This is the babyface again. Roman Reigns is the babyface, getting people to do his like slaves, right? So maybe 6 months down the line, Alan, or a year down the line, maybe Jacob Fatu will rebel against the bloodline, and maybe that's what they think long term. Oh, he'll rebel against Roman in a year from now. He'll rebel against Roman, and then we'll turn him into a big baby face. That means they have to turn Roman heel, which I'm not sure they're going to do. But for that storyline to make sense, then Jacob Fatu has to be the baby face. Other than that, I don't see how this helps Jacob, unless that really is the long-term plan. But this company doesn't do long-term plans.
Not at all. They just cobble things together, and that's been proven. Look at the Cody Rhodes Gunther thing, just cobbled together within a few weeks.
Yeah,
Gunther just blatantly just randomly attacked Cody Rhodes.
It's all just out of nowhere.
So I have no idea what TK are playing at.
It was another boring Raw. It's now June, so when SummerSlam is SummerSlam the 1st of August. It's early this year, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, like last year, it's a 2-night thing, and it's basically the first Saturday, Sunday in August.
But they got 8 weeks then. So they got 8 weeks to get the storylines to the next level. I'm trying to think what the SummerSlam main events could be. I'm thinking, would they really have LA Knight versus Roman Reigns? That doesn't seem like a big enough match for me.
No, probably not. I know it's going to be Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk.
The SummerSlam, you think that?
Yeah. I think that's that. Mark my words.
Not
that they've been
WrestleMania.
doing. No. That'd be a SummerSlam event.
Okay.
That'd be the main event on night one or two. Yeah, probably night one, I reckon, because obviously Cody Rhodes is not as important as Roman Reigns. So,
No, Roman Reigns. Roman
that's
Reigns will be in night 2. Yeah.
That's my prediction for the main event of night one, SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed title against CM Punk.
If they are going to go that route, then Punk needs to come back to TV because I want to see a proper build with him and Cody. I don't want a 2-week build. I want a proper.
Well, I hope so, because Punk's old school. So hopefully he's in someone's ear and saying, do you know what, we need to, I want my match to feel important.
I mean, I'm interested in seeing that match because Cody Rhodes, despite people not liking him, I do think generally Cody's quite old school as well. I think he's a good storyteller. I think him and Punk could tell a really good story, not just on the mic. I mean, in the match. I would. So what interests me? There's not many guys who do interest me anymore that they've got, but those two in a program would interest me. But I want a proper program. I don't want a 2-week build. I want a proper several month storyline. So if they are if that really is true, Alan, they got to get cooking then, because they've only got 2 months.
Very true. Very true. So let's have a look now. SummerSlam, August 1st and 2nd.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's about 8. Is it about 8 weeks?
Well, so really nothing this month, really?
There's
nothing in the month.
No,
must be saying in June.
Yeah, they've got it's the King of the Ring, the Saudi Arabia King of the Ring stuff. Yeah,
that doesn't count.
Yeah. Okay, well, I suppose that's it, Alan. Unless you've got anything else you want to say about Raw, I thought it was boring. I'm not looking forward to the direction of anything that's really going on, if I'm honest.
Yep, I've it was just a box standard show that they always put on. The highlight was Rollins versus Bron Breakker. I thought that was a decent match to finish the show off. Fatal 4-ways for King of the Ring is just ridiculous. That doesn't make you King of the Ring; it just makes you lucky, or Queen of the Ring. Yeah, I've won a fatal 4-way. Good for you.
Yep, it cheapens. I think it cheapens the whole tournament.
A one-on-one 15-minute time limit. Yep. Have that.
Exactly.
If you want to get the kids interested, put the bloody clock on the Titantron and say, there you go, there's the time limit. 15 minutes, go, ring the bell.
Yep. And
we can have a nice mark. I don't know how many guys on the roster today can actually have a technical masterclass in the ring now, because they just love jumping and flipping and stuff. It's turning into AEW. It really is. It's turning into AEW. No one does mat mastery anymore. Where you get these great moves. They'll go into like corner elbow tie-ups. They'll go into a transition. They'll go for the like a leg sweep. They'll go for a leg lock. They'll turn it into a headlock, and it'll just be move after move after move with great transitions, great counters. But now it's not. It's now half of them can't even throw a punch.
I agree. A lot of the basics seems to be not being. They're either not being taught well, or they're just not being taught at all, and I don't know which one it is. Before we go, Alan, so it's not all negative, because we have been negative. Look, we see what we see.
Well, it's not our fault.
Give me one wrestler, and this might be difficult, but there must be one who you are invested in this year. Even if it's a wrestler who's been there for years, it doesn't matter. But give me someone which, I'm going to be following what they're doing. I'm interested in, male, female. This is
kind of. Yeah, this is really based on their look, and I've always liked the look of them. I thought, even when they were in AEW, I thought they had a decent look about them. They didn't have a particularly great run in AEW. Mm-hmm. That's Penta.
Okay.
I like Penta. I think he's very charismatic.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, he hits that Mexican Destroyer really well. The one on Ethan Page didn't really hit on the Saturday Night's Main Event. That didn't hit very well. But no, generally he's pretty solid as an in-ring performer. I think Penta's great. I'm happy he's the RC champion. I'm glad they didn't put it on him too soon, because the people fizzled out. They did wait about a year and a bit to give him the title.
Yeah. He was there for a year or so. Yeah, because
he was like, they kept saying, "Oh, he's the hottest thing on on Monday Night Raw and all that kind of stuff." And he had a great run in the first Rumble he was in. Okay, he botched. Both feet touched the ground. We can't deny that. But yeah, Penta's I like the look of him. He's got a great moveset. He's very charismatic. Promo not great, but then again, English is not his first language, so I can't blame him for that. That's not his fault because he's obviously Mexican. But yeah, Penta, I love him. I think he's got it. He has got it.
That's not a bad choice. The easy one is CM Punk, but that's the easy one, so I won't say him. But he is
that's who I was going to go with.
He's pretty much one of the only guys. Okay, so Com won't like this.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued with LA Knight. Now, he isn't the best. He isn't the best wrestler. I already know this.
No.
In my defense, I remember telling Alan about him years ago when he was Eli Drake in TNA.
Okay. What was his finisher then? Was he still using the BFT?
No, I can't remember what his finisher was. But I remember watching him. He cut these really funny promos where he called everybody a dummy. He actually doesn't do this. He actually has changed his promo style. But back in TNA, he was incredibly entertaining, and I was surprised. He did remind me of The Rock and Austin because the truth is he does copy from them. I never denied otherwise. He does. He does. His voice sounds like The Rock, and the way he wears his mannerisms are like Steve Austin, but his voice is like The Rock, 100%. And he 100% is taken from them. By the way, not bad people to take from. By the way, two of the best promo guys ever. Two of maybe the three biggest stars ever. So not bad people to take from. But he has taken from them. There's no escaping it. I still think for what you need to be in the WWE for American wrestling, I think he has got everything you need. The worst part about him is his wrestling ability, but the wrestling ability is the least you need to succeed. I'm intrigued to see where this blasting the Roman Reigns and the Uso stuff. I think it's going to be a heel turn for him, but I do wonder if they're finally going to go all the way with him. I suggest history says that they probably won't. Like, that's why I said to you earlier, I can't see him and Roman being the SummerSlam match. I don't think it's big enough, right? So I think he's got very little chance of winning that belt off Roman. But I actually haven't given up on him. I actually think LA Knight will actually be a world champion. He might not be a world champion who holds it for a year or anything like that, but I do think he actually still has a chance of it because of the promo, and only because of the promo. So I'm intrigued to see if they do turn him heel. What they do with that, because I think it was last week he came up to Seth Rollins. He had a dig at Rollins. He's had a dig at Roman, and then last week he had a dig at the GM, right? So there's something there happening. I don't know where it's going to end up, but obviously they're doing something. So I'm intrigued, and me being intrigued in anything in this product is hard. I'm intrigued to see if it is going to be the heel turn. I think it is. But what's that going to look like? If he's going to feud with the Bloodline, which is what it looks like, he's going to have to get some people around him. So, is this going to be a stable of people who are against the Bloodline? I don't know. That's why I'm intrigued.
Yeah, see where it goes.
So
he does do his best work as a heel because I saw his NXT stuff.
He does his best work as a heel. And again, I know that Com doesn't like him, and I get it. And I don't think he's an amazing wrestler either. I don't think he's the pits, but I don't think he's a particularly great wrestler. That is by far the weakest aspect of his game. But I have seen him in TNA cutting heel promos really well. And whether or not he can ever get back to that, I don't know. But I'm intrigued to see that at least it looks like they're going to try to do something different with him. I don't know how far the heel turn is going to go. It might not even be a heel turn. It looks like it is. It's a weird heel turn because everything he's saying, this is what makes it so funny, Alan. Everything he's criticizing the Bloodline for, he's 100% right.
Yeah, sure he is. Yeah, we've been saying it for weeks. It's like we've been echoing LA Knight and he's been echoing us.
So, yeah, it's like LA Knight. So they must realize how, at least on some level, the WWE brass must realize on some level how the bloodline comes across, because they've got one of their characters saying these things. So they must be aware on a certain level, oh, this bloodline faction is coming across heelish. So we'll have LA Knight say these things about them, which are true. So this is why I'm intrigued, because that doesn't make him a heel, but I bet you he ends up becoming a heel.
Oh, no doubt.
So that's what I mean. Anyway, sorry, Alan. It's nearly time for your Bond stream, isn't it? Right?
Yeah. So everyone head over to the Play Pouch.
Yes, please do. The Play Pouch, our kind of sister channel, really. You see myself, Alan Comms on there. I think Rebel's into the gaming that much, but me, Alan, and Com are on there. So yeah, join us. The Play Pouch is called. So like our sister channel here, really. Most of the same guys are on there. Alan's going to be doing his Bond in about 10 minutes or so. I've kept him later than I planned. This has gone on later. It was only meant to be me and Alan, so we figured it'd be shorter. But we've just had a good chat about wrestling.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it, Al. So thank you again. Yeah. And we'll be back next week. Can I do next week? I've got an operation coming up. No, next week's okay. The week after, maybe not. So next week, please join us at 7 or 6 is normally the time we do it. Depends on who's around. And we'll be discussing, well, more Smackdown that we might not watch that much of. Another Raw, which we won't be that interested in. But we'll come back next week and we'll see if anything amazing's happened as the build to King of the Ring and then the build to SummerSlam that we've just realized is less than 2 months away. They need to get their asses in gear if they can come up with a good two. And remember, it's 2 nights, guys. That's a lot of work they've got to do for 2 nights.
That half-assed at WrestleMania, yeah?
Well, yeah. But yeah, thank you again, Alan. Say goodbye,
Nice,
Alan.
man. Yeah, take care, everyone. See you all next week.
And as for me, I'm just going to say, what a maneuver. Bye. Yeah. Where's your lexicon? Oh, classic. Take care, guys.